Killer whales, or Orcas orcinus orca, are among the most fascinating and powerful marine mammals. Here's a breakdown of some key points about them. 1. Physical characteristics. Size. Orcas are the largest members of the dolphin family. Males can grow up to 32 feet 9.8 meters long and weigh around 12,000 pounds 5,443 kilograms, while females are smaller, typically reaching 23 feet 7 meters, and around 8,000 pounds 3,600 coloration. They have a striking black and white pattern, black on the back, white on the underside, and white patches above the eyes, which helps them blend with the ocean when viewed from above or below. Dorsal fin. The dorsal fin of males can grow up to 6 feet 1.8 meters tall, while females' fins are much smaller. 2. Habitat and distribution. Orcas are found in oceans all over the world, from the Arctic to the Antarctic. They prefer coastal areas, but can also be found in deep ocean waters. Their distribution is influenced by their prey. They tend to migrate based on the availability of food. 3. Diet and hunting. Diet. Orcas are apex predators, meaning they have no natural predators. Their diet is varied and can include fish, squid, seals, seabirds, and even large whales. Hunting techniques. Orcas are known for their sophisticated hunting strategies. They use teamwork to corral fish into tight schools, or even use the ice edges in polar regions to create wave washes that knock seals off floating ice. There are also specific pods that specialize in hunting certain types of prey. For social structure, orcas live in matrilineal pods, which are groups that are centered around a female and her offspring. These pods can range from a few individuals to up to 50 or more. Each pod has its own distinct culture, including hunting techniques, vocalizations, and social behaviors. These differences are passed down from generation to generation. They are highly social animals and are known to communicate with each other through a wide range of sounds, including clicks, whistles, and pulsed calls. 5. Intelligence. Orcas are incredibly intelligent and have been observed exhibiting complex behaviors such as hunting cooperatively, teaching their young, and even playing. They are known to use tools in some regions, like using beach rubbing behavior to remove parasites or objects from their bodies. They have large brains relative to their body size, and their cognitive abilities are comparable to those of dolphins. 6. Reproduction. Female orcas give birth every 3 to 10 years, typically to a single calf. The calf stays with the mother for many years, learning hunting and social behaviors. Orcas can live long lives. Females often live to be around 50 to 90 years old, while males have a slightly shorter lifespan, typically 30 to 50 years, though some have been known to live longer. 7. Conservation status. While orcas as a species are not globally endangered, some local populations are considered threatened due to habitat loss, pollution, depletion of prey, and disturbances from human activity. Certain pods, such as the southern resident killer whales in the Pacific Northwest, are critically endangered, with as few as 73 individuals remaining in recent years. 8. Cultural significance. Orcas hold significant cultural and spiritual importance to many indigenous peoples, especially along the Pacific Northwest coast of North America, where they are often seen as symbols of power, family, and respect for nature. They are sometimes referred to as the wolves of the sea, due to their complex social structures and cooperative hunting behaviors. 9. Vocal communication. Orcas have a wide range of vocalizations including clicks, whistles, and complex calls that help them communicate and coordinate during hunting. Each pod has its own dialect, with unique calls that members recognize. Their echolocation clicks are incredibly precise, allowing them to detect prey, obstacles, and even distinguish between different types of prey. This ability is so sophisticated that orcas can see their environment through sound, even in dark or murky waters. 10. Different types of orcas. Resident orcas. These orcas live in one area, have a specialized diet, mostly fish, such as salmon, and are often found in coastal regions. They are more likely to stay within their family pods for life. Transient orcas, also called Biggs killer whales. These orcas move around more frequently in search of prey like seals, sea lions, and other marine mammals. They have a much wider range than residents and tend to have a different vocal dialect. Offshore orcas. These orcas are found in deeper waters farther from shore. They tend to eat larger fish species and sometimes even sharks. Their behavior and social structures are still less understood compared to residents and transients. 11. Unique feeding strategies. Wave washing technique. Orcas are known to work together in teams to create waves to wash seals off ice floes. This behavior has been observed in the Antarctic region, showing just how adaptable and intelligent they are in finding ways to catch prey. Breaching and tail slapping. Orcas sometimes leap out of the water, or slap their tails on the surface. While the exact reason for these behaviors isn't always clear, it's thought they may serve to stun prey, communicate with other pod members, or simply be a form of play. 12. Cultural transmission and whale culture. Orcas have demonstrated a complex form of culture. Cultural transmission in orca pods is the passing down of knowledge like hunting methods, vocalizations, and social rituals from one generation to the next. For example, certain pods may specialize in hunting specific types of fish, and the younger orcas learn these techniques from their elders. It's fascinating because it shows that orcas have not only individual intelligence, but also group-based learning, akin to human culture in a way. Some pods have unique methods of hunting and even unique languages that other pods don't share. 13. Human-orca interaction. Historically, orcas have been revered in various cultures, especially by Native American tribes of the Pacific Northwest, who view orcas as a symbol of strength, family, and protection. On the darker side, orcas have been held in captivity in aquariums and marine parks, but this has led to significant ethical debates. Orcas in captivity often exhibit behaviors associated with stress, such as repetitive swimming patterns or aggression. The documentary Blackfish 2013 brought much attention to this issue and sparked discussions about the ethics of keeping such intelligent, social animals in confinement. 14. Health and conservation threats. Pollution. Orcas, being apex predators, accumulate toxins like polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs, in their bodies. These chemicals can affect their reproduction and overall health. For instance, southern resident orcas are heavily impacted by low salmon numbers and toxic pollutants in their food chain. Noise pollution. Orcas rely on sound for communication and echolocation, so increased underwater noise pollution from ships, sonar, and industrial activity can disrupt their ability to hunt and communicate. Prey depletion. The depletion of their primary food sources, such as salmon, due to overfishing and habitat degradation, has a direct impact on orca populations. In particular, southern resident orcas have been severely affected by the decline in Chinook salmon stocks. 15. Conservation efforts. Protected areas. In areas like the Pacific Northwest, steps are being taken to protect orcas by establishing marine protected areas where fishing is limited and noise pollution is reduced. Captivity bans. Some regions have passed laws banning the capture and display of orcas in captivity, following public outcry over animal welfare. Salmon restoration. Various organizations are working to restore salmon populations through habitat restoration, better fishing practices, and even hatchery programs to increase the availability of prey for orcas. 16. Research and future studies. Research on orcas is ongoing, especially regarding their social behaviors and vocalizations. Marine biologists are particularly interested in understanding how orcas communicate and pass down cultural knowledge. New technology, such as underwater drones and acoustic monitoring, is allowing researchers to gather more data on these animals without disturbing their natural behavior. There's also growing interest in the role orcas play in marine ecosystems. As apex predators, they help regulate populations of other marine species, which in turn helps maintain a healthy balance in the ecosystem. 17. Famous orcas. Tilikum was a captive orca who became famous for his involvement in multiple incidents at sea. His tragic story brought attention to the ethical issues of keeping orcas in captivity, especially considering his troubled history. Granny, one of the most well-known orcas, Granny or J2, was an elder of the southern resident orca pod. She was estimated to be over 100 years old at the time of her death in 2016, which made her one of the oldest known orcas in history. Awesome. Let's dive into each of those areas in more detail. 1. Hunting techniques. Orcas are exceptional hunters, and their methods can vary widely depending on the prey they're targeting. Here's a deeper look at some of their hunting strategies. Cooperative hunting. Orcas often hunt in groups, using highly coordinated tactics. For instance, in herring traps, orcas work together to corral schools of herring into tight balls, making them easier to catch. They can herd fish toward the shore or into narrow areas where they can trap them. Wave washing. Orcas in cold regions like the Antarctic have been observed using waves to knock seals off ice floes, A group of orcas will swim towards a flow and sink, creating waves that wash over it, dislodging any seals resting there. Breaching and tail slapping. When hunting larger prey, such as seals, orcas sometimes breach, leap out of the water, or slap their tails to stun or kill prey. Breaching is thought to be a technique to disorient or overwhelm prey, especially when hunting fast-moving animals like fish or marine mammals. Killer whale pods specializing in prey. Certain pods specialize in hunting specific types of prey. For example, some pods have developed unique methods for hunting large whales, like gray whales. They'll target young or sick whales and use teamwork to tire them out, then feast on the carcass. 2. Social behaviors and structure. Orcas are intensely social animals, and their social structure is quite complex. Here's a deeper dive into their social lives. Pod structure. Orcas live in family groups, called pods. These pods are typically led by the oldest female, known as the matriarch. The matriarch's experience and knowledge are vital for the survival of the group, especially in terms of finding food and navigating their environment. Matrilineal society. Orcas live in a matrilineal society, meaning the family lineage is traced through the mother. Sons typically remain with their mothers for life, while daughters stay in their pods and sometimes form subgroups with other females. Vocal communication. Orcas use a wide range of vocalizations to communicate, which are thought to include calls to coordinate group movement during hunting, alert others to threats, or communicate with distant pods. Each pod's dialect is unique, and young orcas learn these vocalizations from their mothers. Play and bonding. Orcas engage in play, which helps strengthen bonds within the pod. They have been seen playing with kelp, riding the bow waves of boats, and even engaging in mock hunting behaviors. These interactions are important for social cohesion and learning. Caring for the sick or injured. There are accounts of orcas helping sick or injured pod members, even assisting them to the surface to breathe if they're struggling. This shows a deep sense of familial care that goes beyond typical survival instincts. 3. Conservation efforts. Many orca populations, especially those that are residents such as the southern residents, are under threat. Here's a closer look at conservation efforts and their importance. Endangered populations. The southern resident orcas of the Pacific Northwest are considered critically endangered, with their population dropping below 75 individuals in recent years. This is primarily due to a shortage of their main food source, Chinook salmon, along with pollution and habitat degradation. Marine protected areas. MPA's efforts are being made to create marine protected areas, where orcas can feed without being disturbed by fishing or commercial shipping. By reducing human activity in these areas, it gives orcas a better chance of recovering their population numbers. Salmon restoration. Since the southern resident orcas rely heavily on salmon, particularly Chinook, there are ongoing efforts to restore salmon populations. This includes dam removals, habitat restoration, and fishing regulations to help maintain healthy salmon stocks. Noise pollution reduction. Ship traffic, sonar, and industrial activities can disrupt orca communication and echolocation. Efforts to reduce noise pollution in critical orca habitats are being prioritized. For example, the shipping lanes in the Salish Sea have been adjusted to minimize disturbance to orca pods. Captivity and ethical concerns. There is growing advocacy to end the captivity of orcas, especially after the release of documentaries like Blackfish, which highlighted the negative psychological and physical effects captivity can have on these intelligent creatures. Various countries and regions have introduced bans on orca captivity, while marine parks are shifting towards ethical and more naturalistic approaches to caring for marine life. The role of orcas in ecosystems. Orcas play an essential role in maintaining the balance of marine ecosystems. As apex predators, they help regulate the populations of many species, from fish to seals to other marine mammals. Trophic cascade. Orcas help regulate the populations of other marine mammals and fish. By preying on certain species, they prevent overpopulation, which can, in turn, impact the entire food web. For example, by controlling seal populations, orcas help maintain healthy fish stocks. Ecosystem health. Their hunting practices also contribute to the health of the oceans. For instance, by preying on weak or sick animals, orcas help keep the gene pool of other species healthy. This natural culling can prevent overpopulation of prey species and encourage the survival of the fittest. 5. Research and technological advances. Underwater drones. With advancements in technology, Researchers are now able to use underwater drones and acoustic monitoring systems to study orca behavior without disturbing them. This has given scientists unprecedented access to study their movements, hunting behavior, and vocalizations in the wild. Echolocation studies. Researchers are studying orcas' echolocation abilities in greater detail. These studies are helping us understand how orcas see underwater, navigate dark environments, and detect prey, and have even inspired bio-inspired technologies used in sonar and other systems. Behavioral observation. Ongoing studies are focused on observing orca social interactions, play, and cultural transmission, helping to illuminate just how intricate their social structures are. This research is important not just for understanding orcas, but for the conservation of the species as a whole. Orcas' intelligence, social structures, and role in marine ecosystems make them an integral part of ocean life. Their complex behaviors, communication, and hunting methods highlight just how evolved and sophisticated these animals are. As for conservation, the more we learn, the more urgent it becomes to protect them and the environments they depend on.